Good evening, y'all. Today is December 23rd, 2024, but I'll be making this video log for December 21st, 2024. December 21st was a Saturday, so I worked a 12-hour shift, so I was like super tired after work and was like, I'm not making a video. Like, I gotta be up early tomorrow to do human things, right? So I'm just gonna give a quick recap of the day. It was actually a pretty interesting day, all things considered. So, got up, it was probably, I want to say 9:30, 10-ish. Oh no, it was actually probably like 7:45 because I had to take my. Did I take my mother-in-law to work? Anna took her mother-in-law to work, but so she called Anna, and Anna didn't answer. She like was still asleep. So I looked at Anna's phone and it said Peter Pan. I was like, what? So I answered. I was like, hello, and the lady goes, oh my bad, and hangs up. What? So she calls me, and then it says Melanie, Anna's mom. So I pick it up. I was like, hey, you looking for a ride? And she was like, yes, if you're able to. And I was like, yeah, we'll be right there. Right. So I hang up. I was like, hey, babe, go pick up your mom. Hey, babe, go pick up your mom. Hey, babe, go pick up your mom. And she was like, no, I sleepy. So I was like, oh my God, bro. So I like woke her up enough that she had to get up, and she was like a little peeved at me. Like, I understand. But because she was like, you said we'll go get her, and now you're making me go do it. And I was like, bro, I work all day today, and I worked all day yesterday. Like, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm eepy buddy. So I like, so she went and picked up her mom, and I passed out for like another hour. She was like, she came back. She was like, you slept the whole time, and I didn't. So she was like, get up. You're going to go fold your clothes. I don't care. No, you're not playing video games. You slept. You gotta be productive. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, whatever. So I fold my clothes, which honestly, I love when she forces me to do productive things. It's nice. It makes it easier to do productive things. So I went and folded my clothes, put them all away, which I've been putting off forever. And then got ready for work. She drove me to Jersey Mike's, picked up my sub. Dude, saw Chris there. Chris signed on with us at Primerica for a little while. Super good to see him. Really, really nice. And then the regular guy named my sandwich, he's a pretty cool dude too. Got my number 9 grilled. That dude's so good. So good. So yeah, bring us to work. I ate like the whole sandwich. I had two tables immediately, like right at like 11:10, and they were both pretty cool. And then they left. And dude, I forgot to turn the water heater on at work. So I like got to work, got everything set up, open. Like 11:02, Edward comes out and he goes, "Oh, you need to turn on the water." He like turned it on, and then both the tables ordered hot tea, so the water is luke fucking warm. And I was just like, so I like had to put water through the coffee machine with no coffee filter in it, so it's just scalding hot water, right? So I like made the hot tea or whatever, however I needed to do it. And so I served both those tables. They were pretty cool. I had like two more tables after like 35 minutes probably. And dude, I was playing Dragon Fist Limitless is what it's called the whole time and just grinding, bro. Like I was it's kind of called med spamming, but I was just meditating. So you basically do your shit, train your guy, meditate on what you've learned, get more wisdom, do it again, and it's so fun. But I was sitting there grinding the whole time, right? And so really interesting thing, or like really ridiculously interesting. And I like this was like a weird event, right? So about 1:45 rolls around. I have a table on 9. They're completely done. They're paid. Table on 12, they're also paid. They're getting ready to leave. Guy, I see it walking in, like probably 6'2", skinny black guy wearing big black baggy clothes, headphones around his neck, backpack, and he's carrying an umbrella. All right, like all pretty much black, maybe some white and red trim, whatever. So I walk up, like in between the two front booths, and I'm like, "Hi, how can I help you?" And he walks up to me, waves me off, walks right past me. So I'm like just looking at him as he goes by, like I don't usually get waved off by people. Like they usually ask me for them. So my brain goes, he's walking past me to just go to the bathroom. So he walks, I'll do this. So front door up here. He walks in. Booth. I'm standing here in the middle. So he walks in, waves me off, walks right past me. Around this corner here, Edward is standing here. So he walks over to Edward and goes, like mumbles something at him. So Edward's like, "Oh, can I help you?" And he goes, "Oh, so we don't speak English." And he turns and he walks back. So I'm still standing over here. So he walks right back past me, and I'm sitting there like, "What?" Like Edward spoke English to the guy. Oh, so we don't speak English. Turns, I'm still standing here. He walks right on back past me. And so the way Canton is, there's a double door. I'll put it here. There's a double door here. Right here is the register. There's a double door here, and there's like a little airlock right there, and then the front door. So it's like there's like a layer of doors, right? So he walks back up, goes through the double door, and stands in the airlock. So he's in the front door, he's into the front door, and inside the double door at the same time. So he's standing here. We have a bell that's like a little laser that senses motion to like ding, and it lets people know like, hey, there's someone coming in. So it's for us. So he's literally just sitting there going, bing, 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 and this dude's just sitting there like this. Just scrolling on his phone for like it was probably a solid like minute 15, like 75 seconds that I'm sitting there looking at him, and Edward is still standing here looking at me going, he okay? What he doing? Like you gonna check on him? And I was like, dude, I don't know. So front door's over here, front door's up here, he's standing here, and then double doors, right? So I go and I open this double door here on the left, or on the my right. So my right, this double door, and so it's propped open. He's standing there in the airlock, and then the front door opens, and a lady's trying to come in, and so she is like probably, dude, like I should, 5'1", like tiny little old lady. She looks up at him and goes, "Oh, can I come in?" And he goes, "Oh, what?" And she was like, can I come in?" And he goes, "Oh, you want to order food?" And he steps back out of the way. So he's standing here and he steps out of the way. So she's able to come into the restaurant through the propped open door. So she comes, let me see if I can do this. So she comes in and stands here, registers over here. I'm like probably here. He walks back in between us and gets all up in my face. As he's doing this, he drops the umbrella and kicks it into the lady. So it's like flat on the floor, but he kicks it into her foot. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, dude, like you have no awareness of your surroundings. You just need to leave. And he's like mumbling at me, like he's not saying real words. He's just like, like looking at me. So I pick up his umbrella and walk out the still like propped open door. Or yeah, I'll do this. Still, oh man, how do you hinges work? Still propped open door. So the door's like this. I literally just walk right out of it and to the front door, and I hold the front door open. So the front door is like, see if I can get the angle right. So the front door is open like this. I'm standing here holding it, right? So I'm like holding the door open and beckoning with the umbrella, like, dude, let's go. Like, come on, just go, dude. And he's sitting there in the middle of the restaurant, standing. The lady's still standing behind him, just going. And then he does crazy. He goes, reaching out to grab his umbrella that he's now realized I have. So he like looks over and he starts like walking towards me. Literally, like think of Walking Dead zombie speed, like literally that fast. And he's like he's like, give me my umbrella. Give me my umbrella. So I'm like, yeah, come grab it. And so he kind of like goes back into the airlock and he's like, give me my umbrella. So I like hold the umbrella close to him and he starts to reach for it. And I was like, yeah, just grab your umbrella. So he's like all the way outside. As he's like mostly outside, he's probably like here, front door, right? He's probably like here. He steps back into the airlock and looks at me and goes, do you want me to mop you up right now? Dude, I laughed at him. Like I was just like, what? Like what are you saying? And he goes, do you want me to mop you up right now? And I was just like no, I don't. I just want you to leave. And so he, like, I literally just brought the umbrella all the way out. He grabbed it, and I just closed the front door on him. Thank goodness he just sauntered off, dude. And I was just like, what the, what happened? And so I like closed the door, and the lady was like, was he okay? And I was like, he was high as crap. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That dude was just wild. Like, what is happening? So I took her order. She was super cool. I made like a quick little next door Facebook post, and it was just like, hey, strange man alert. Gave the whole story. Like, dude came in, was acting weird, didn't understand human English, didn't had no awareness of his surroundings, drugs clearly involved. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. He shouldn't be out in public. He's wandering down Cleveland. Like, that's the he's wandering. Well, I think it was. I didn't say like west or east or south or north or anything, but I was like he's wandering towards Walgreens on Cleveland. Right. So this whole day I'm getting comments on this Facebook post, and I'm like still serving tables and stuff and like responding to people, and they're like, why didn't you call the police? And the first person who said why didn't you call the police, I was like, I had to take the lady's order. Like, she just had some weird interaction with this dude. I still gotta take her order. And then the next person, dude, I was like, what did he do that was illegal? Like, realistically, what did he do that was like actually illegal? And they're like, he threatened you. And I'm like, dude, a guy high off his bananas looks at me. He's a Walking Dead zombie. Do you want me to mop you up right now, bah? Like, no, dude, you couldn't realize that I took your umbrella. You're not going to mop me up. Like, I'm going to hurt you. Like that is what would occur. I don't want you to attempt to mop me up. And so I was like explaining like he's no threat to another person. Like, really. Like, he can talk anything, but he is not a threat to another person. He wasn't a threat to me in any case. Like, you think he's gonna be a threat to me? No, he wasn't like a threat to me. Right. And so I'm like sitting here just like, that was crazy. Like, I have no idea what that interaction was about. That was wild, right? And so I'm like fielding all these Facebook interactions. And then yeah, like it was a really interesting day. And then after that, like probably 3 hours go by, and I'm telling the story and telling the story and telling the story, and pretty much like nothing like really interesting happened in the evening. I will definitely say like 6 o'clock, I was like still pretty like energetic, and I kind of like started to like downhill. I'm pretty sure I ended up closing late just because I was like, oh man, I'm just tired. I don't really want to, I don't really want to sweep and mop, dude. I'm tired. And so I was like, ugh, sweeping and stuff. And it was just like, I'm so excited to get home. And that's part of the reason I didn't make a video log, and I'm doing this 2 days later. But I don't mention this in my uh, video log today. Today, Corey calls me. He's at work. He's doing 12-hour shift at Simplot. Calls me and goes, hey, dude, that guy you posted about on Facebook, I know him. And I was like, you know him? And he was like, yeah, dude, he comes in with that regular. That one regular. Like, I don't remember his name. And I was like, the only guy who's like coming with like a weird dude is like Chuck, but like, I don't remember the guy. And he was like, no, 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 I'm pretty sure his name was like Abel or something. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I was like, I don't even know if it's the right guy, right? And so my other coworker, Yasmin, texted me like probably 2 hours later, 3 hours later, and was like, "Hey, just saw your Facebook post. Do you still have a picture of the guy?" And so, or no, she said that her husband, her fiance, had told her about the Facebook post and knew of the guy. He had like interviewed at Gem State Staffing and was like on their like do not employ list. Like, he's weird, right? And so I sent her the photo, and she was like, "He comes in with Chuck." And I was like, no way, bro. Because I remember the guy, like, I remember the guy without remembering the guy. And I remember him coming in, like, maybe a couple years ago, and he was fine. He was totally normal. Like, he was just a guy. And I was like, I don't even remember what he ordered, but I'm pretty sure he just gets, like, a cheeseburger or something and just devours it, right? But the last time he came in was probably 6, 7 months ago, and he was just off, dude. Like, sitting there in his hood, just like dark vibes, not really talking. Yeah, cheeseburger man. Can I get some more water? Like not like no interaction whatsoever. And so Yasmin was like, "That's the guy, dude. I can't believe he's deteriorated so far from being like a nice young gentleman. I was like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That is crazy. So to wrap up the story, I'm sitting there next door, and some lady sent a photo and was like, "Is this the guy?" Like in the comments, and I was like, "Yes, yes, that's the guy." And she was like, "Check the jail roster." So I checked the Caldwell jail roster, and literally him there, and it's he's arrested for public intoxication and harm to self. Like, what are they called? A danger to self. So not danger to self and others. He was no danger to other people. He was a danger to himself. And so apparently he had been at the Dollar Tree that morning, like probably 20 minutes before he came into Canton, trying to buy like prescription medications, like over the counter cough syrup and stuff, being weird. And then he sauntered over to like a tire shop and like caused some trouble. Came over to Canton, caused some trouble. Went to Walgreens, was weird, and just kept walking down Cleveland Boulevard, causing trouble. And apparently he got arrested because he went into the laundromat and threatened to sexually assault a woman, like verbally told her like I will you. And so they called the police immediately, and the police realized like he wasn't like a danger to her. Obviously he shouldn't be making threats like that. Like that's not cool at all. He's publicly intoxicated on something and a danger to himself. Like he's going to get himself hurt saying these things, doing these things to people who are not publicly intoxicated, right? So it all resolved itself. He got arrested and stuff, and I was having some really interesting conversations in the comments, and everyone was just like, "Whoa, that's crazy! I can't believe you dealt with that." Yada yada. But all in all, it was actually a really solid day, and I wish I had like a what is it called, like a daily thought. But right now, I'm like just ready to eat a cheeseburger and go to bed. Um, daily thought, daily thought. I don't think I'd take immortality. Like if I was offered immortality, kind of like Percy Jackson, like true immortality, like would live forever unless killed, but like highly invulnerable. I honestly don't think I'd take it. It'd be kind of lame, like, because your first 100 years are awesome, and then the next 100 years are cool, and then the next 100 years are all right, and then the next 100 years are lame, and then the next 100 years and every other 100 year after that kind of suck. And it's like, but I think that it'd be interesting, and the only reason I think it's interesting is because I'm reading Dune right now, and so Duke, if you don't want Dune spoilers, fuck the Daily Thought, whatever. But for Dune, so Paul's son ends up becoming like this immortal worm god, and he rules the universe for 3,500 years. So he talks about being able to see patterns in humanity that humans don't live long enough to witness, but still exhibit in this cycle. And so he talks about how like in order to observe something properly and get proper like input and output in an experiment, you have to view it for the whole time. And he's like, I've observed things that no one else could have possibly observed. They just don't live long enough. Like they just don't, right? Like there are cycles that exist within a year of each other. There are cycles for 10 years. There are cycles for 100 years. There are cycles for thousands of years. There are cycles that he didn't even live long enough to see. So it'd be interesting to be immortal like that, but it's truly, truly a terrible purpose, like they talk about. Like, it is terrible to live that long. Like, you have to want something really badly. And he talks about it. He's like, he's a good person. Like, he's not even human anymore. But he does it because he loves humanity and wants humanity to pierce through the one in a quintillion chance that they could possibly even think about surviving themselves. And so he wants to be the spearhead of humanity that allows them to bloom. And so he takes on the burden of immortality, or a nigh immortality, we'll call it, but like long term life, to be able to care for humans and help them blossom, right? And so he does this thing, and I would call it akin to like pruning. So he really like suppresses the human nature, because once you stop suppressing it, it explodes, and they become extremely like self-aware and inflective and intelligent and outgoing and like desire desiring, and they almost like I would call like spontaneous evolution, which I think is the coolest thing. And you wouldn't be able to even see it if you weren't immortal, because you wouldn't even like be there to recognize this is how humans used to be, this is how humans are now. So I think that in some way it'd be cool to be immortal, but I would have the same issue as Omni-Man. At some point you'd start looking at humans as less than humans. And so when your original intent is I really like humanity and I want to see humanity grow and evolve, at some point you start seeing humans as less than humans because you are above human, you are human. And so that's why I really liked Leto, because he became like literally, if you think of human evolution as like a straight line or like a branch, he literally, this whole tree, human evolution tree, he just went and started growing that way. And so we're all growing here. He's off in this direction. He is one. He is the only kind. He is the one of a kind. He's the only member of that species. We're all growing here, and he's witnessing it all. And he's growing over here in a completely different evolutionary tree, which I think is a really interesting concept. But he became like a god. And it makes sense because you're not human. So if you were a truly immortal human, you would have to go through that thought process of if I am human and I am immortal and I love humans, these humans die, they are not humans. Like it logically you'd go through that. So I really like that we don't have immortality. I really, really do, because I think that life is so precious, and I think that the one of the most precious things about life is that it doesn't. And that's like really, it's just life. Like one day I'll die, and that's it, dude. And everything that I've done, I hope it's good enough for me in the future. And I hope I'm able to sit there and look back on my deathbed and just be like, I did my best, and that's all I could have done. Sure, I could have done better in some areas. Sure, I could have tried harder at some things, but at least I did something. And just be able to pass on without any regrets. So I don't think I would take immortality, because I think that once you are immortal and you start viewing yourself as more than human, it's much easier to have those regrets. Because you're going to do something and you're going to see the ripple effect in 10 years, just as a regular human would, but you're going to see the ripple effect in 100 years, in 200 years, and it's going to haunt you. And you're going to see the ripple effect in 500 years and 1,000 years. And you're gonna one day go to an art museum, and they're gonna be like a long lost piece of art, and it's gonna be an artwork that you hated drawing, and that you were in a really bad spot when you drew, and they're gonna be like, this is like one of the most valuable pieces of art, and it's gonna be a sore reminder of your own inadequacy. Even though you view yourself as above all the humans around you, you're still inadequate. You're still human at heart. And I just think that immortality is overrated. And I don't think I'd take it. I think I would enjoy having death at the end of life and not experiencing the end of time. I don't think I'm that interested in that. Yeah, that got really interesting really fast. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope your December 21st is absolutely amazing. Have a good night, y'all.